Good day, this is Terry Difazio, and you're watching Dial It Up. Today, my guests are Senator Bobby Starr and Senator Russ Ingalls from Essex, Orleans District. Have I got that right?
Yes.
Very good. Good to have you guys on.
Yep.
And a special shout out to Miss Vicki Strong for setting this up. She set up all of my guests for the next couple of months even. The first question is, what committees are you on? Because I'm not sure everybody really knows all the. You might switch committees also, right?
No. Once we get appointed, we stay where we are for the biennium.
Okay, for the 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, you haven't changed since the last one you were on, Bobby?
I haven't. I chair agriculture, Senate Agricultural Committee in the morning. And then at noon we switch gears, and in the afternoon I serve on the Senate Appropriations Committee.
Okay, and how about you, Russ?
I'm on transportations in the morning, and then as Bobby said, at noon we switch, and I'm on institutions in the afternoon.
Okay. Well, that's good, because you're brand new to this.
I am.
And you still haven't been to Montpelier.
I've been down there just a couple times.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask you guys, what legislation are you working on right now? Anything specific?
In ag, we're very involved right now with food security issues, and we're setting up a program to secure our food issues here in Vermont, to make sure that in future years, if we run into a mess like we have this last year, that we have adequate supplies of food, and working on a what we call a universal meals program in the schools. We've been working on this over the past half dozen years, and we've got up to 80 schools in Vermont on universal meals now.
Wow.
And we're trying to expand that out over the next maybe 4 years to get all of our schools onto the universal meals program. And that, in short order, what that is all kids eat. And there's no money that changes hands. Federal government still pays for the reduced and subsidized meals. And we think we can do that in an affordable way, so that all kids, they walk through the line and pick up their meals, and it's worked out very well. The 80 schools that we have on that.
Most of them in the north or the south, or they're just all over?
Well, they're kind of scattered all around the state. Burlington has universal meals even, but no, it's worked very well. The food residuals on farms, now there's mandatory food residuals. You can't send them to the landfill anymore. So we're setting up a system in the ag agency to allow farmers to be able to take food scraps like from the east side or stores and take that home to their farm, mix it in with their bedding and wood chips maybe, and make compost out of it, and then use that on their farms, and even in some cases they could sell up to half of it.
Well, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. So
how about you, Russ? What are you working on now?
Well, in the two committees that I'm on, they're money committees. So we are just basically in institutions in the afternoon. We're waiting for the capital bill to clear the House and be presented to us. So we're just going over the budgets of requests of funds, and transportation, the same thing. It's a money committee. We're reporting out tomorrow our miscellaneous bill, not the big bill, but our miscellaneous bill, and there's not much in there, just some language changes. Working on some other bills of concerns. I've got an S-83 bill, dairy stabilization bill that Bobby's got in his committee. Just watching some other bills. We've got a bill in there we're a little concerned about, S-30, which is a gun rights bill that we're hoping it doesn't make it out of committee.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
We've got another thing, the resource officers in the schools. We've got a House bill that wants to get rid of those, and we're kind of favorable on those, I think, on the Senate side. So we've got a bill on that, and I think that we're all concerned about right now. I know Bob's talked about it. I've talked about it. But we've got the teachers and the state employees retirement fund that at some point in time it's going to gather a little steam, and we're going to get a lot of involvement with that and try to figure out how we can rectify a $5 billion deficit in that fund. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of neat things happening, and we're certainly busy enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. By the way, for all you viewers out there, I do take email questions, and I've gotten a couple this time, a couple last time, and I got one this time. And this question comes from Ned and Darlene, and their question was, "What should the state of Vermont do to mitigate the effects of climate change?"
Well, we're constantly working on that. We're in ag. We're working a lot with our dairy farmers on soil health, trying to put programs in place to build stronger soils that would absorb a lot of the carbon. We have some excellent forest plans to take care of carbon, and we're also working with, I do forest and parks in ag some, working with the Commissioner Michael Schneider in regards to setting up where different land, they like large blocks of land for forest sequestration, and so most people own 300-500 acres. Trying to set up a system where you can group them together, so it might add up to 2,000 acres or 3,000 acres. So we're setting that up. I think we're doing a good job. We don't really have the problems that other states, larger states, have, but yet we're at the forefront of doing things to even make ours better. And so I think it's coming along. As long as it doesn't get crazy, we'll be okay. And which sometimes you have to keep a close ear to the ground and an eye on things. There's some people that think that we're all gonna go to heck in a handbasket, and so there's a medium ground there, and I think so far we're sort of in the middle, and that's a good place to be.
I agree. How about you, Russ?
Well, I think to add to Senator Starr's comments, the state's taking it very seriously. I know in the transportation industry, it's a kind of exciting time. We're really working for electrification of automobiles and setting the groundwork for that. Something that's it's pretty exciting stuff. It's not far-fetched. It's attainable stuff, and I agree with Bobby as far as we're kind of on the middle of the road. So a lot of these problems we don't attribute to, we didn't create, and some of the grander problems we're not going to solve as a state in Vermont. We're just not that big. But the electrification of automobiles, the systems that we're setting up right now is something that's going to be a lasting effect in the state of Vermont. Institutions handles in their capital bill a lot of programs that I think the governor has recognized to do with the outdoors. We finished up funding for the 93 miles of the Moyle Valley Rail Trail. The governor's actually put more monies into recreation and parks to build out more cabins, just dry cabins with electricity. That's it, no plumbing, because he's recognizing that a lot of people are enjoying the outdoor more. So more tent sites, more of an emphasis to be outside, to be healthier. And then back to transportation, everything that we talk about involves a bike trail. So between everything, I think the state's doing a really nice job. Again, as Senator Starr said, being moderate, being in the center, affecting things that we can effectively change without bankrupting our state with amount of big dollars. So
here's a question that I get every so often. What have you been hearing from your constituents regarding this, seems like several state mandates? What have you guys been hearing from your constituents?
Actually, I don't think I've had one call as far as a particular mandate. Got a tremendous, received a tremendous amount of calls with people with problems trying to get through the system with it, people working at home. And last fall when people were trying to get signed up for unemployment and things like that, it was almost a full-time job just dealing with their particular issues and getting their social security numbers, and then getting a hold of the commissioner or deputy commissioner over at Labor and Industry. But I haven't heard a whole lot on mandates. I don't. Maybe Russ has.
I haven't. No, I agree. It's government is a customer service business a lot of the way, and if you can help your constituents get through the process, they just don't deal with it all the time, and sometimes they just need a phone number that they can call or need some guidance. But I think Vermont and I think our constituents have really taken COVID serious. Are they tiring of it? They are. We can see the light of day, and I think as our numbers drop, we're looking to have some more restrictions lifted, and we're fighting the good fight. I mean, we're staying in the battle. Are people growing tired of it? I would say, but I haven't really had a lot of calls about any of the mandates myself as well.
No, and you take, like with our numbers, we're either first or second nationwide with our numbers that come down with COVID. Proportionately, it's all proportion. I think the governor, personally, I think he's done an excellent job. Here in Orleans County, we're just a hair over 400 people that have tested positive. I was talking with folks at the hospital, and they haven't been overrun with sick people, and I think we've done pretty darn well, and it's mainly, I think, because of our size, and we all know each other pretty much and look out for each other, but once in a while, if you're at the store, you'll hear somebody grumble a little bit about having to wear their mask or something. But for the most part, I haven't heard much at all, and I think we're coming along good.
Are you familiar with two things? I think it was a week or two ago. I think it was right after the inauguration of President Biden. Dr. Fauci says now he thinks 2 masks would be better because he saw 2 people at the inauguration wearing them. Now, if this is science, I'm a bit of a loss. But now he's saying he's seeing mask use and all these restrictions going into 2022. And what is your reaction to that?
Go ahead, Russ.
I've read this morning on a couple articles that the cases in the United States probably haven't been reported. There's been a lot more cases that haven't been reported, and that we might be reaching herd mentality a lot quicker than what anybody really had thought. So these 2 particular stories that I was reading said that both of them concurred that maybe by the end of April that things would start to lessen, that we're on a downward trajectory. But, I think that if you had a crystal ball, it'd be a lot easier. I know people are tiring of it. People are still willing to put the good fight in. We still have a lot of people that have been hurt. A lot of our small businesses are they're struggling. They're struggling. I mean, hopefully we can get to the point to where we can get this under control and we can get back to what normal is. But again, I don't know. I don't know about national.
I've heard about the herd immunity figures that you're talking about, and that hopefully things will get back to somewhat normal in April sometime.
Oh, I think so. And as far as wearing a double mask, I mean, I think it'd be kind of overdoing it wearing 2, but it wouldn't do any harm to have a good mask with a liner on the inside. And some of them that people are making, they put a little filter in the mask. And the big thing on that is, you aren't just, at my age, the older you get, the more susceptible you are. You want to protect yourself from others, but you want to protect them from you as well. And I find the biggest problem with the mask is, and I think I mentioned it earlier, of course, sitting on the dash of the car or hanging on something in there, and you get to the store and you hop out and you get to the door and you say, oh, golly, forgot my mask, and then you have to walk back to the parking lot. And if it's snowing like heck, that's not a very pleasant trip.
No, it isn't. You are correct.
But, I think, you go to the stores and people are doing pretty well about masking up.
I'll just add my 2 cents worth. Excuse me. There was a study in, I think it was either Belgium or Denmark. I can't remember which one it was, but they did a double-blind study with masks, and they said the number of cases for people catching COVID were at X number for people who wore masks and people who didn't, and the difference was like 0.2%.
Oh, not much.
Hardly anything. But anyways,
I think the best part of the mask, wearing the mask, you don't hear many people getting colds this winter, and the regular flu, that's all kind of slowed down, or there isn't any reporting of it.
Yeah, and the habits of washing your hands and being better.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean, you Bobby, you've been to these legislative breakfasts with me, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, or maybe I'm just overly sensitive, but when we go to these things, are there at least a dozen people coughing and hacking every meeting? So it's like, if you're sick, why don't you stay home? But
and I think that's probably changed some. I think that there's a lot of us warriors that used to believe that no matter what, you went up and you got up and you went to work no matter how you felt. And I bet that's probably changed a little bit now. The awareness brought on to what you could spread if you were to do that. You're not really helping anybody.
No names mentioned, but when I'm running a camera, there's somebody on the left that's coughs almost the entire meeting. I won't mention any names. But anyways, about these Zoom meetings, how do you guys feel about the Zoom meetings?
Well, of course, Russ has only worked on Zoom meetings, but from being there, the years I've been there, the hardest part of Zoom for me is that interaction with your fellow senators and reps, and talking in the hallways and telling them what you're working on and getting feedback. You miss all that in that personal interaction. The good part about Zoom is that our committee rooms, especially mine, is a relatively small room. So if I get 6 or 7 people in there besides the committee and the staff, the clerk, it's pretty well filled up. Whereas on Zoom, you can have 16, 20. Heck, one meeting I've had this year, I think we had like 40 people on it. And, you just keep switching screens and you can all see each other. And so it's a real plus for our constituents to be able to participate. And I've mentioned it to our leadership that even if when we get off Zoom, we should have a Zoom system set up in each of the committee rooms so that people don't have to drive for 2 hours to get there to talk for a half hour or 15 minutes. We can, we can screen them in on Zoom, and I think it's working. It makes for a long day when you're used to moving around and things like in Montpelier, but it's working halfway decent, I'd say. Yeah.
And same. I believe that politics is built on relationships, and not have been down there, but being political in my life, I know that you can certainly get more done on eyeball to eyeball than you can on a Zoom meeting. But I agree with Bobby as far as getting more people in front of us. I mean, we're lots of times we're just information gatherers. You're hearing one side or you're hearing the other side, and other than having 16 people sit out in the hallway to be asked to call in, I think you can get a lot more people in front of you. And so, yeah, I do agree as well that that some of this Zoom element is still going to be around, especially for that. When people are concerned about driving cars and emitting more greenhouse gases to get there, if you can cut down to 16 people driving down to Montpelier just for one committee meeting, imagine what you can do. So I think some of it is going to be here to stay, but it's gone down pretty well. Bobby and I were joking on the way in. I saw him last summer, and he was out there. We happened to be the same place, and he was parked out there zooming right away. And I said, "Look at that poor son of a gun out there zooming." But here we are. We're still zooming. So hopefully next year, that will change some.
And the parking in Montpelier, is a nightmare.
Yes, I know. I've been there a couple of times.
And, they have to park way up the Labor Building and hop a bus, and then the bus doesn't show up. And it eliminated those problems. And so it's working. Yeah.
The next question I have is, how important is it to you guys to stay in touch with your constituents? For example, when you get an email or a phone call, how important is it to you to get back to that person?
I would say that's a big part of our job, because if people take the time to write you an email or call, they deserve a response. And before email, 8-10 years ago, at night you'd go eat with your buddies and talk politics. Well, now at night when I'm in Montpelier, about 7 o'clock, when I get done dinner, I get on to answering emails, and it usually 2-3 hours. And but you have, it's necessary. Those people deserve a response, and I think it's very important.
I feel the same way. Somebody takes the time to send something out to you, whether you agree with it or not. They're your constituents. They deserve to hear what your opinion is or how you feel about something, and it's even back to what Bobby had said. Times have changed some. I can imagine there's a time where you spend a lot of time on the telephone calling these people back late into the evening now.
Yeah.
So now you can see. Now you can just get right to the question. You can answer them back and tell what your position is and move on to the next. Probably about the same level of what Zooming is going to be for us at some point in time. I think you can just get a lot more done sometimes. It's important. If somebody reaches out to you, it's just common courtesy. It's how we were raised. You respond back to somebody.
I'm going to go on the record right now as saying that in the years that I've been in contact with Bobby Starr, I think he's answered 99% of the emails I've sent him, which is pretty good because there are a couple of people that I will not name have never written me back.
Yeah.
Well, that's not right.
No, I agree. That's not right.
And anyways, I got one last question for you guys. You realize there's going to be there's going to be a rally at the UPS store here in Newport today. Did you guys know about that, and what is your opinion of it?
Well, I just kind of heard about it.
Yeah, I heard about when we came in, we were chatting.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what the rally is about. I just think that it isn't such a big deal to wear a mask and to put a sign in your door and all that that's the owner's personal business, but I wouldn't have operated like that personally. We're a society of rules and regs, and the governor did have a proclamation that you should put a little sign in your window and asking people to wear a mask, and I probably won't go because I've got another meeting this afternoon.
I understand.
But,
sure.
People, I don't mind people protesting or having rallies, so, I want to, tell them to wish them well.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I wished I would have, back to the last question of reaching out if somebody was having some difficulties, and I just wished I would have been contacted about this, and maybe we could have mediated something in there, but it's gone now to the point of no return. It's gone back now to damage, it's just all of a sudden it just I'd heard the other day that the UPS store was closed down. I said, for what? I couldn't imagine why it was closed down, and so I didn't even know much about that, about the mask thing or the problems that they were having and stuff like that. And I just wish that I would have been a little bit. I guess I wish I would have known about it, and maybe we could have mediated something in there to not got to that point, and help them out a little bit. And I'm again just hearing about it now. Mondays are a busy day for us. It's not a day that we're in session. We've got a lot of meetings. My Mondays right now are planned right out for 6 weeks' time, and so I probably won't be able to make it to that neither. But again, I agree that if people want to protest that they have a right to do that, and that's the way America works.
I didn't know about it till Saturday evening, and I found out on Facebook. But anyways, I'm going to be putting your email addresses up so people will know how to get in contact with you. I want to thank you both personally for coming here today. These are trying times, and I'm glad that you guys took the time to come here.
Well, appreciate the invite.
Thank you, Terry, and Northeast Kingdom TV for hosting us. It's very good, and hopefully people will get to watch. And
this will go up on YouTube also. We have a YouTube channel, so anybody that wants to watch this, doesn't have cable, wants to see this, can get it on YouTube. I will send you guys the links to the YouTube also. So this is Terry Difazio for Dial It Up, saying if you don't like the answers, don't bother to ask the questions. Bye now.